The Orlando Magic roster consists of prospects with potential at every position. Wendell, Mo, and even Bol Bol at the 5, Paolo, Franz, J.I., Chuma, Mo Wagner at the 3 and 4 spots, and of course, our abundance of young guard options with Markelle, Suggs, Cole, RJ, Caleb Houston, etc. The promising aspect of all of this is that most of them have high basketball IQs, are versatile, and unselfish, which are all key qualities of winning players. Having a plethora of those type of prospects is a great problem to have. However, it's still a problem in that the Magic are now tasked into finding adequate playing time for all of them in order to put them in the best position to develop. I tell you what, I don't envy Coach Jamahl Mosley's job right now at all, because he'll be put to the test this season and isn't in a way in charge of the path that our young core takes in order to ascend into title contenders. The goal of the 2023 season will be to distinguish who from the young core is worth keeping and who isn't. The only way to find out is if all the young players are given fair chances to prove their worth. Coach Mosley will need to get creative with his rotations in order to provide each player a good opportunity to showcase their improvements and worth. So why don't we help him out? In this video, I'll predict what should be the main rotations in terms of minute distributions, and then I'm going to release the second part of this video where I'll play around with some cool lineup combinations intended for specific goals, such as a lineup to help Franz Wagner get more on-ball reps and force him to become more assertive, and many more like those. But before I begin, I want to give a huge shout out to Jamal Randolph for recommending this topic to me. It's a good off-season topic, and I urge anyone to post any other topic ideas that you have that you want me to cover, and I'll be sure to act up on it. This channel is for the fans, so please never forget that. You'll have some fun in this video, and I want you to counter any lineups that I've presented and post some of your own in the comment section below, and I'll make a response video to them all. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Alright, so this is what I think the main rotation will be pre-trade deadline. As you can see, I've outlined pre-trade deadline because I think Terrence Ross and even Mo Bamba will be traded, and therefore they'll be showcased in order to drive up their value. In turn, they'll provide some experience and good spacing for our younger players. So the lineups are divided into 3 rows, from starters to third stringers, and the minutes distributions are spread out in different positions. For example, we'll obviously have a point guard out on the floor 48 minutes, not counting overtimes of course in this mock-up, and those minutes could consist of Markelle taking up a lion's share of it and Jalen Suggs given the rest. But that isn't going to be all of Jalen Suggs' minutes on the floor, as he'll play some spot-up minutes at the 2 as well, as you can see. Second unit minutes are highlighted in different colors. Now, obviously minutes will deviate depending upon certain matchups in certain games. For instance, Cole Anthony could play 30 minutes at a 2 whenever he has a hot hand. Franz could be our 2 guard in some minutes in big lineups, and Paolo will play as a small ball 5 whenever we'll go small. But the minutes I presented here is just to give you guys a general idea of what to expect and the averages you'll see pre-trade deadline. Alright, so let's go over all of this. I think the first thing that stands out is Gary Harris Jr. starting at the 2 over Jalen Suggs, which isn't the most popular scenario amongst Magic fans, but hear me out. If the goal is to improve on last season, then we can't head into this season featuring a starting lineup with the 3rd best shooter being a 32% 3-point shooter in Wendell Carter Jr. While I believe that Wendell will improve as a shooter, it's still a huge gamble to rely on him to space the floor until he proves that he's a plus 36% shooter from deep. Also, you can't expect to win, especially in a much improved Eastern Conference, with your oldest player in your starting lineup being only 23. Again, it's Wendell. So you might counter that and say that the Memphis Grizzlies are led by their young core, but they still featured a veteran in the last 2 years in the starting lineup, such as Jonas Valanciunas, Steven Adams, and Kyle Anderson. And while the Cavs started a very young lineup last season, their rotation still featured amazing veterans such as Ricky Rubio, Kevin Love, Rajon Rondo, etc. to balance it out. And we don't have any experienced veterans like those, except for maybe Gary Harris. We need a calming presence on the floor at all times, especially if we're counting on Paolo and Franz to become our stars. Furthermore, Harris Jr. is back to being the valuable 3-and-D player that he was before his injury back in 2018. And let's not forget that he shot 38% from downtown on 5 attempts, including 41% off the catch, and he's by far our best shooter at the 2 and 3 positions right now. Furthermore, if you take away his rough first month with the Magic last season, then from December 1st onwards, he shot 41% from 3 on nearly 6 attempts per game. We need the floor spread as much as we can to maximize Markelle, Paolo, and Franz. Having Jalen Suggs, who still needs to prove that he can shoot, out there with them instead of Gary Harris could further impair our spacing issues. The last thing that we want to do is make things even harder for Paolo, who will have the difficult task in itself of being our go-to option as a rookie. Suggs is only 20. He will be our starter in the future. you can take that to the bank, but for right now, we have Markelle Fultz as our lead guard, and there should be no objections with that. Why not give Suggs more point guard reps off the bench with Cole Anthony? He and Cole have some continuity established already as backcourt mates playing in one of the most played lineups last season in terms of minutes. 20 minutes of point guard reps is a good number given the amount of guards we have already on our roster. So therefore, I have Fultz at 28 minutes, and that's based off some research I've done on the minutes per game that similar guards have played in their first season back from a torn ACL. For example, DeJounte Murray averaged 25 minutes per game in the first season after his ACL tear. Fultz is still only 23. His minutes will increase and hopefully get up to 33 plus minutes per game when he hits his prime. Plus, we need to distribute minutes to all our guards. I have Franz Wagner at 32 minutes per game, which is the same as last season, but it'll increase once we move on to players after the trade deadline. When Franz hits his prime, I'm willing to bet that he'll average 36 plus minutes per game and lead our team in minutes per game. For now, it'll be maxed at 33 minutes per game because we need to open up some minutes for Chuma Okeke somehow. Similarly, Paolo at 30 minutes per game might seem low, but if you go through some of the minutes per game of some of the past Rookie of the Year winners, then 30 is right around the average. Wendell at 29 minutes per game is also lower than you expect. Again, keep in mind, we need to open up minutes for Mo Bamba and raise his trade value. February will be the perfect time to maximize Mo's value with him on a decent contract that will still have a year left for the team that trades for him. 15 minutes per game could be too small for him to showcase everything, but that's the issue with having so many young bigs on the roster. I'm still confident that Mo will still get 1 to 2 blocks per game and make his per 36 numbers look great, and hopefully that'll bait some team to bite and give up a first round pick for him. Moving along, I want to emphasize this point, which is that with the addition of Paolo and the returns of Markelle and JI from injury, don't expect guys like Cole Anthony, Mo Bamba, Chuma, RJ to get the same number of minutes that they received last season. I'm predicting Cole's minutes to drop from 31 to 24. That's still enough for him to be a spark plug off the bench and a true 6th man of the year candidate. That's around the same minutes per game that Lou Williams, for example, averaged when he was winning 6th man of the year awards. If Cole can prove that he can play well off the ball and become at least an average defender, then his minutes will definitely increase in the future and he'll probably be good enough to start. So the shooting guard minutes will be of 24 Cole Anthony minutes, 17 Gary Harris Jr., and 7 Jalen Suggs, who'll play the 2 whenever he'll share the backcourt with Markelle. We'll also need to showcase Terrence Ross, but the problem is that he won't get as many minutes as he did last season. Hopefully he performs in those 14 minutes or so of the floor time he'll get at the 3. Chuma Okeke, who I'm still a huge believer in as a contributor on a contending team in the future, will take the biggest hit in terms of minutes this season with the addition of Paolo and JI. See, coming up with Chuma's minutes was like the hardest task of all this. I can only find 2 minutes at small forward and 8 at power forward for him for now. Now I think that his minutes will increase once Mo gets traded. Once that happens, then we can convert JI as a backup 5 and then upgrade Chuma as a backup 4. I'm giving JI 12 minutes at the power forward and 4 minutes as a third center option and 60 minutes per game in total. He's still coming off 2 major injuries and will need time to settle down with his new teammates. 60 minutes per game is enough time for him to get back on track, and his minutes will gradually increase throughout the season. And he'll get to see his minutes increase in my post-trade deadline lineup right here that also sees a return of RJ Hampton in a rotation with Terrence Ross gone. I know RJ's stock is at its lowest in the eyes of Magic fans after his horrid Summer League performance. However, it's important to remember that RJ will not be tasked into being a playmaker like he was back in Summer League. Instead, he should be developed into another Terrence Ross, a quick wing who could run around screens and launch. RJ shot 40% off the catch, albeit in low volume, but he has all the tools of being a good 3&D player with his improving jump shot, speed, and energy. We can't afford to leave any stone unturned, and it would really suck if RJ moved on and became a good player on another team. Continuing on, Fultz and Suggs' minutes will remain the same at the 1, and likewise with the shooting guard minutes distribution. Franz takes up the majority of the small forward minutes, RJ gets 8 minutes to go all out and bring energy, and the rest of the small forward minutes will be split between Paolo and Chuma. I want to also note that Caleb Houston will be given some time and could replace RJ's minutes in the rotation in some games. I think Caleb could make a convincing case to earn some minutes, so we should look out for him. Paolo Banchero will receive 28 minutes at the 4. Chuma will get a bump in his minutes with 16 backup 4 minutes and 20 minutes in total. Jonathan Isaac will then collect the rest of the backup 4 minutes. Wendell will see his minutes slightly increase, and JI will convert as a backup 5 to fill the void left by Mo Bamba. Now, I believe that Isaac will fare well as a 5 because he had a decent rebounding percentage at 12.7 despite only averaging 6 rebounds per game during the 2019-2020 season. Even more important, his smart defensive instincts could help cover for Paolo because the number 1 overall pick will have some defensive lapses, being a rookie. Now, some of J.I.'s minutes will be shared with a veteran backup 4 that we should trade for from any Mo Bamba or Terrence Ross deals. There will be some spot-up minutes available for either one of Mo Wagner, Bol Bol, or Admiral Schofield. Don't expect J.I. to play all 82 games. In fact, with load management, I'll be shocked if he even plays 60 games, so Mo, Bol, and Admiral will receive ample opportunities next season to prove their worth. And out of the 3, expect Mo Wagner to get the most game time in the absence of J.I. However, having said that, don't be surprised if Bol Bol earns some spot-up minutes towards the end of the season. I know I put Bol Bol in the thumbnail, and that wasn't clickbait at all. I'm certain Bol Bol will feature in the rotation at some point this season. Why? Well, the Magic seem to believe in Bol because re-signing him to a 2-year deal was their first official move this offseason. Bol is an even more raw version of Mo Bamba, but he has more guard-like skills and fits the modern game better if he hits the ceiling. And that's a big if with all the injuries Bol has suffered so far in his short career. The Magic still need to see what they have in Bol because there's only a handful of human beings on the planet that can move on the floor with a basketball like he does. Combined with a solid shooting stroke at a career 38% from 3 and 67% from the line and decent dribbling skills, he could be a diamond in the rough if he stays healthy and overcomes his motor issues with the help of Jamahl Mosley and his staff. They did improve Mo Bamba's motor issues this past season, so hopefully they can work the same magic with Bol Bol. Alright, so that was my post-trade deadline lineup prediction. I tried to give everyone a fair shot based on their capabilities. As I said earlier, don't expect Cole, Chuma, RJ, Mo Wagner, etc. to receive the same amount of minutes that they did last season, but they'll still get enough time to prove that they should be a part of the young core going forward. So I'm going to release another video on the same topic, and in that video I'm going to get more creative and play around with some cool lineup possibilities that the current Magic roster could present, so look out for that. Thanks again to Jamal Randolph for this topic idea. I also want to give a huge shout out to all the subscribers of this channel. With Paolo going viral quite a few times this summer, more and more people are talking about the Magic, but we should feel proud that we were here on YouTube before all of them. Let's continue to grow together, so please like this video and share this channel with your friends and family. Thanks for all the love, and let's go Magic.